I think in the last video the other wing was off. I can't actually remember, but anyway, it's a bit more dismantled now. Turns out the radiator actually in really good nick, and it's been done at some point by I don't know if anyone remembers Cirque Marsden's, but it's been done, so I think that will go again. The front apron, it's made of aluminium and it's sort of held together in bits, and it's made in halves, and there's a steel bit here which I think is probably original, and I'm not convinced this is, because the car I looked at the Atwell Wilson Motor Museum had a steel apron, and not, I mean, this just looks homemade, it's riveted together. I don't think this is, in which case whoever pressed this, I mean, cracking job, but I don't think this is how it left the factory. I don't know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, I don't know. Front bumper irons, well, this one's bent, quite badly bent. That one is a bit straighter. The bumper is actually a good deal more bent than I gave it credit for. That's a really nasty bit of chin in there. It's quite rusty, there's a ding there, it's completely corroded through all over the place, and it's quite twisted. Not as bad as the back one, but it is twisted. I think I'll try and straighten it out a bit and then see if I can find a chroming company that can also fix the rust holes, because that saves me a lot of time. Fog lights are off, the overriders a bit bent, but I think they'll tweak and chrome. I've discovered this, you probably won't be able to see it, but down there's someone's drilled into the distributor and down here, and I've added 2 sensors, and I think that's a Hall effect sensor, but all of the low tension side and the feed to the coil from the coil went into this box that was on the offside flitch. I don't know what any of it does, but these were the wires that went to the ignition system, and even though this still has a condenser and points, I'm kind of getting the impression that they don't do anything, because it looks like it's got some form of weird early electronic ignition system, homemade probably by Mr. Webb. I have finally found the siren, the loudest siren in the world, which you won't be able to see actually, but it's tucked away in here, so that's got to go as well. The radio's got to come out. Well, it doesn't have to come out, but I'm taking it out. There's more extra wires. I don't know what they do. We've also discovered that it has no thermostat. You won't be able to see down there, but it has no thermostat, and it's really quite badly corroded in there. There was coolant in it, but it was quite weak and clearly hadn't been changed for a very long time. I'm hoping to change the stat housing for an FG one, which I know I've got somewhere, but I can't find. But if I can find it, then I can put a regular thermostat in this without having to machine this thing to take a standard stat, and delete the bypass hose, which apparently didn't really do these engines much good. So that will be going. What else have I discovered? Not a lot, really. Oh, the flitches incorporate a sort of cold air inlet that runs inside the flitch and goes up to here, and then is the cold air feed both sides for the heating system. It's absolute genius. The rubber grommet is missing this side, but the other side does have, slightly knackered, but does have said grommet, so that's nice. You can make a pattern. What do I do with the other wing? So the front near side wing is, yes, we're still flooded. Yeah, sure. So I'm struggling to get this off because the nut is frozen solid. I don't want to break the side light, so I took the wing off, or we took the wing off with that. I'm going to drill through the nut and see if I can remove it without damaging the side light. This wing's really not bad. This, even for someone of my skills, i.e. none, I think I can fix this. There's a ding and rust, lots of rust, hole, but that's all fairly fixable. All of this is still there, which is amazing because it's the only one that is. So I'm not too worried about that. Although, I mean, it looks like a hell of a state. I'm not too far off getting the body off. I have sort of filled it with crap because that's the way I do things. I have bought a rebuild pump kit for the fuel pump, but I think I'm probably going to put an electric pump on it. That seems to be the way ahead. So yeah, there's a bit of disconnect round here. There's the speedo cable to draw through the bulkhead. There's some more extra wiring down here. I don't know what that does, but it all has to come off. So I'm going to crack on and remove it. I've fallen down a slight rabbit hole of trying to work out some of the extra wiring, and I think, I'm fairly sure, so the wire that came out of the Dizzy, which I remember, well, one of the wires, the other one is like a loop from something he's added up here, and it goes into a little loop and into the box he's added. But the wire that came out of it went through the bulkhead and across the car into that box up there, and there's another box there. There's also a load of extra wiring. I found quite a lot of this I've removed, so this was from the Echo. So I'm guessing at some point it did have the Echo working. The Echo, the radio, is now here rather than in there. But this bracket was sat down here, and this is the gear shifter. And I think, so there's a sensor and a sensor. There's also, what have I done with it? Oh, there it is. A micro switch that was bolted down here on the back of the fork. So I'm beginning to think, given that there's also the speed sensor that's on the prop shaft that I found underneath, which runs up here through the bulkhead and also goes into that box that's down there, I'm beginning to think, A, he'd developed some form of weird early electronic ignition, but I also think all of this, if you remember back to an earlier video, if you've been watching that long, you could drive this along and then a buzzer would randomly go off, mainly in third gear. But I think this, all of this weirdness and the piezo buzzer, which is the wire for that comes through the bulkhead into the fuse box, but then also comes back out the fuse box and goes into that box in the middle. So I'm beginning to wonder if all of this was like either an overspeed warning system or an upshift system, you know, so that, you know, it beeps when you need to upshift. I don't really know, but it's clearly something to do with road speed and what gear you're in, I'm guessing. But was mostly separate, although connected to this box, which had all the wires that went to that, apart from that wire that went to the other box. So I'm still none the wiser, and yeah, although I am going to rewire the car, don't get me wrong, but at this point I don't know what he's done to this, so I don't know if this distributor would even work. I don't know if it's still got the advance in it, because it doesn't feel like it does. The vacuum advance pipe is crushed, so I don't think that's doing anything, and it drove absolutely perfect. So I don't know what he's done to any of the bits that his electronics went into, and will that affect how they work when the electronics are not there anymore? Will they work at all? I don't know. So if I could sort of get my head round what he's done and why, I might stand a chance, or a better chance, of understanding if any of this will actually work without it. Well, this is getting exciting. So this was the box that's on the left-hand side of the car. That's the box that's in the middle. This has a potentiometer on it. I'm not quite sure what it's for, but I mean, it moves. I've probably completely buggered it now because I've moved it. So G is the wire that disappears off through the bulkhead and goes down to the back of the gearbox for the sensor that's on the prop shaft. E was the lead that goes, or went, to the distributor. So I'm not quite sure what that's for, but get rid of that. And then there's this lead. That went to the... where did that go? That went to the chocolate block that was on the gear select column that had the sensors and the micro switch on it. This red wire goes Well, that's interesting. So the breakout red wire goes up to one of these switches. I can't quite see from here which one, but it goes to one of them. In fact, it goes to this one with all this weird shit on the back of it. So I don't know what that does. I mean, it never used to do anything much when I shoved it, but anyway, and that went to somewhere else. Where did that go? In fact, that's now completely separate, this one. So that one went to that wire went up to the rev counter that he'd installed in the speedometer. That multi-plug, I can't bloody remember. And that multi-plug I pulled out of... there. It went into this box. So, yeah, I'll remove the red wire because that could come off, and then I might just pull the lids off these and see what's in them, because I don't know when I'm interested. So the central box that fed, that was the little wire that went up to the speedo for the RPM. It's got some chippies in it. Any idea what they're for? Because I haven't. This one has a sander. This was on the left hand side, and the potentiometer and the outputs for the gearbox and the dizzy, all of which go, and there's a capacitor, there's more chips. I don't know that these chips have, well, they might have something on them, but I can't bloody read it. And there's, I mean, there's, yeah, I don't know. I do not know. It seems like a lot of overly complicated stuff for a very simple car, but in here, in the lid, is this. And I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing that this hasn't been opened, and probably since this lot was installed. So, if I can get it out. If I can get it out of the packet. What do we have? Oh, hello, hello, hello. Oh my god. We have a... Oh, wow. Okay. Right, normally high, low with clutch slip. So it was what? So this was a clutch slip. High top gear, low third gear. Audio mute when low. To other chips. I mean, this is... I don't understand any of it. This is beyond my third and top. Pins. Decoupling capacitors not shown. 270-degree socket to counter and display. Decimal point on display. Oh. Rev counter, tacho, middle automatic, up speedo. So that switch, hang on a minute, is there a, I thought that was a 2-position switch. It ain't that one, it ain't that one. No, these are all 2-position, I don't get it. That's the one that had, that the wire went into that box. But that's only a 2-position switch. That suggests it should be a 3. So you could switch it between the rev counter and a digital speedo, maybe? So this is low with clutch slip, normally high. Revised circuit. Tacho. Hang on. Okay. So he's modified it. So tacho auto speed. Oh, I don't No, I don't get it. Gearbox in, engine in. Engine gear, oh my god. So the only thing I don't have then is, so these are the wiring diagrams for his little boxes, which is great. The only one I don't have then is a wiring diagram for what he did in the fuse box. But this is, what a find! I mean, the dude is clearly an absolute genius. The only thing that makes any sense to me there is the 555 IC, so that's a timer. Even I know that. The rest of this may as well be in Russian. So it was... all of this was for measuring... well, having a rev counter, I'm guessing. And potentially a speedo, although I'm guessing that didn't work because that switch did nothing. Well, I said, did I ever try that switch when I was driving it? I don't know that I did. Maybe it did work. And for measuring clutch slip. So maybe that piezo buzzer thing was going off, it was detecting clutch slip. It didn't feel like it was slipping. But what a cool find. I am going to, before I ruin it with my grubby hands... yes, unfortunately, all of Mr. Webb's stuff will be going, but that's a bit of history with the car, so I won't leave it in the car at the moment because I'm taking it to bits, but I think that needs to stay with the car because that is a bit more of its history. What a find. Top work, Mr. Webb. I've taken the tank off for a bit of better access. That tank was for the Jackal system. It's sort of hanging down there at the minute. I'm removing all of that, so the rams will be going, all of the pipe work. It'll never work again. Quite a lot of it's missing anyway, and I wouldn't trust it, even if I could make it work. So I'm going to bin all of that off. Yeah, it's an original part of the car, but it doesn't need to be there anymore because it doesn't work. It's never going to work. So I will delete it. Other than that, it's looking all right. The chassis is in pretty good nick, generally up the front end, a lot better than the back. The only bit that really needs doing is this very front cross member. It's a bit pickled, and it's got a hole in there, but that's okay. That's piss easy to fix. Not worried about that. There's a couple of hoses. I'm going to cut through them because they're all dead. All the hoses on this are dead. So yeah, I'll just cut through them. I'm not too fussed. And that just leaves, I did tuck the speedo drive through the remains of the, there it is, through the remains of the grommet. But it didn't really want to let go, but that is now, oh, it's also, okay, it's in a bracket up here. So I'll have to take it out of that bracket before I lift the body. I don't think there's a lot else. Oh, there's the wires to the start solenoid. There's a couple of wires around the back, but again, that I think was the, well, it's the other end of this lot. I have to worry about the rear two bolts because they don't go into anything anymore. There's a couple, one down here on the other side, and I think there's 4 more. I think I'll have to have a look. Other than that, it's about ready to go. I want to take the windscreen out before I lift it, just in case the body tub does decide it's going to twist. I don't want to break it. I am going to have the glass replaced, but I'd rather have glass that isn't broken to use as a pattern. So I'm going to take the screen out. I am struggling with that. I can get the lower screws. Oh, you can't even see them now, it's that dark. It doesn't look that dark, but trust me, it is. Yeah, most of the lower screws, apart from the centre 2, centre 4, they undo. The top ones, I can't get them to move at all. And I don't fancy me, even if I could, I'd rather have someone else here, because I don't want to drop this, so I don't want to be pushing it out from the inside and have it drop and smash. That would be bad. Also found the original wire for the rear speaker. The rear speaker isn't there anymore because the power shelf doesn't exist. I don't know where that went or when it went, but it's not there. It was there in the 80s, but it ain't there now. So yeah, that is all good. The switches are sort of coming apart. That is, I'm going to retain this because that is the indicator flasher warning visual thing. But I've got a more appropriate one, I think, with the little arrows in it, that I'm going to install. It means drilling the walnut, but I want to install it in the dash next to the low oil pressure and the ignition light, because I just think it'll look neater. And I'm going to delete this. The only switches I need to retain from this are the screen wash, which I'm going to keep electric, whether it should be or not. That's fine, it works. But I can hide a switch. I mean, I could replace this switch, which was the alarm setting, ignition cutout, something, whatever the hell it was, I don't know. But I could put a button there maybe for the screen wash. And the only other one I need is the wiper switch. And what I'm going to do with that, what I'm going to try and do with that, all of this has been modified, but the little knob in the dashboard on the walnut does still exist. It just doesn't do anything. So I might try and get a switch that I can install on the back of it, so that the original wiper switch works again, just differently. So I might try and do that. And then I can delete the rest of that, and then I don't need an extra panel of switches and stuff down there. Happy days. I've got the plate out that goes around. I thought this plate would sort of mean that there'd be a big hole there, but there isn't, so I'm not entirely sure why there's a massive plate there. There's a bit of the original gator, look, so they should have gators. I've got a plan for them, because you can't get them, oddly enough. That is now off. Oh, so there's that bracket as well, and that, I think, is about it. I'm going to come unstuck, because although I reckon within about an hour, should we zoom out a bit? I reckon about an hour, plus however long it takes to get the glass out, that body's ready to come off. But I don't yet have anywhere to put it. There are plans afoot. They're sort of in motion, but I don't yet have those ducks in a row. So I think once the body is just sat on the chassis with gravity, which to be fair it probably just about is already, I will move on to other things that I can get on with, which will be removing the jackal system, and then I don't really want to get involved in ripping all the mechanical bits down just yet, because I'd rather concentrate on one big job at a time. But what I can do, whilst I'm waiting for somewhere to put this bit, I can start fixing the roof. I can start fixing the sunroof drain thing and runners and stuff, because that's all knackered, and I don't care what anyone says, I'm going to make that work. So I can get on with that and start getting the dents out of the roof, if I can get up to it. I can also start fixing the wings, because I can, obviously they're not on the car, so I can do them off the car. I can start prepping stuff like this, because that just needs paint, essentially. There's nothing wrong with it, just needs paint. Same with the bonnet. I can get on with cleaning up the flitches, and they both need a bit of welding, but not masses. So there's lots of other stuff I can get on with. Hopefully the weather will improve, because it's just unpleasant, and I don't like the cold. I'm not great in the heat these days, but this is permeating. Is that a word? I don't know, it might be a word. But anyway, there's now a big hole where the radio was, along with some spark plugs, which are champions. Elite champion. I might do something with this space rather than waste it. I might even put an auto changer in there, I don't know. And I might... It's pointless getting that radio working, but at the same time, I might, if my dad's feeling a bit better at some point, I might ask him if he could maybe... I've got the power pack and everything with it. See if we can breathe some life into it, just for shits and giggles. More than anything, but... Anyway, not masses of progress, but although I mean, it's a lot more in bits than it was, I think, than the last time you guys saw it. I am hoping to start making much better, faster progress when the nights open out a bit and it's less cold, because this is just unpleasant. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go and warm up. So thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one.